Jazz hands?
Every time. Strictly just for our editor. Hi, welcome back to Unique Minds of the Okanagan. I'm Robb O'Day, and we're on location in Penticton with Brent Steele, aka Dr. Mohawk,
Yeah, there's
the creator
here somewhere.
of chaos art.
Yes.
How are you, my friend?
I'm fantastic, Rob. Thank you for asking.
Thanks
I really
for
appreciate that.
having us over and letting us dive into this world that you've created.
Yeah, it's I'm glad you decided to dip your toes in the crazy water. It's something else. So whatever you'd like to know, I'm more than willing to answer the question.
Perfect. Well, why don't we start off with letting people know who you are, where you're from, and how you got into being an artist.
All right, yeah, we can totally do that. So my name's Brent Steele, and I'm from this area. We're in Penticton. And my art started, I probably started like painting in school. I guarantee like when, like in elementary schoolers, that was a thing, along with nap time and learning how to share. But as far as actually diving into and figuring out this, which I call chaos art, that just came quite recently. I've always tried to hyper focus on what I see up here, but I can't put it there, right? So like working from a reference, like look at something up on the internet and try and sketch it out or try and draw it. It's like I want to be able to do it, but there's some miscommunication between here and there. And so I finally decided to throw the rules out and forget and just go with the flow. I turn on the music. I literally take tubes of paint and just go smear them all over the canvas. And then I take palette knives and just move it around. And my art strictly is driven by movement, rhythm. And sometimes I don't even know if it's going to be cool, but I've come to terms with the fact that it always seems to work out, so it's pretty sweet.
I love it.
But that's kind of like I don't know, man. It's yeah, that's me and my chaos.
I love it because abstract art is something that I've interviewed one other artist that does abstract.
Okay.
And since then, I've seen multiple different pieces and artists that do abstract, and movement seems to be a very common theme.
Yeah, right.
And I think I never understood abstract until with one of those interviews where it was describing movement, and that's where that magic comes from versus trying to have an image.
Yeah, right.
Go off of.
I just recently started renting space at a gallery downtown, and we were supposed to do like a little write-up biography kind of thing. And as I was like jotting down, you know, who I am and how this has become, I came across like my inspiration of music, or not music, paint art, is life in motion, constant change. So like to sit on the beach and watch the waves while the trees blow and the sun sets, there's always some sort of movement, right? It's never going to be the same. Even if you sit on that same spot on the beach and you watch that sunset every night, it's never going to be the same. But there's a balance between what's happening, right? You know that sun's going to go down. You know those waves are going to crash. But how you take it in it's always a personal opinion. Even some people are like, oh, sunset, whatever. You know, I'm gonna go get a cake.
Yeah.
But I'd rather sit on the beach and just like watch as everything falls into place, and as the earth settles for the evening and the waves start to mellow out, maybe roll in, the stars come out, and there's a sense of peace and serenity. And so when I stand in front of the canvas, and I've heard so many people be like, oh, I don't know what to paint, or like writers, I don't know what to write, writer's block. That's been known as a huge thing. And like, I assume there's something called painter's block. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I've found that I don't have that problem. Nor will I ever, because I'm not trying to paint
a specific thing.
Anything particular.
Yeah.
I just want to paint. And I think that's really a freeing sense of life.
Yeah. Our work is a very amazing thing, and I think that like the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So like it's a really weird concept when it comes to like seeing like portraits versus landscapes, and then you see abstract. I think it's kind of like it either you get it, you enjoy it, or you don't.
Yeah, and it might not be your cup of tea, but like I still feel and even if it's not, that's fine. Like I didn't paint it for whoever doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But I think that even if you don't like it, you did take a chance to stop and look at it and decide you didn't like it. So you might not like it, but it totally caught your eye.
That's what I think I love about abstract art. The older I get, too, is it's the uniqueness and the creative aspect behind it versus just there is no limitation. So to me, it's like the most freeing aspect, kind of like music, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Where there's no limit to what you make.
There's no limit by any means, right? You can let it go, and there's no bar in which is too high to jump.
Yeah,
because it essentially like your limitation is your imagination, and if you can start with something that's a little outside of the lines,
right,
then the lines don't matter to you anymore.
That's kind of the thing too. Like you're mentioning that you just got a spot at a gallery.
Yeah.
How does that feel going from about a year ago, I think you said prior to getting on camera, that you started taking this full, like as a serious thing that you wanted to do, and now you have a gallery and you just did a live painting today, like an event with music, and how has that experience been, deciding that I want to do this and now you're accomplishing it? Like, does it click, or
it feels pretty surreal for sure, because it's all just been like, I don't know, I suppose what they call a pipe dream, right? But like, and it's not like I'm quitting life or like running away from my wife and kids to go paint. I'm gonna go join the circus kind of thing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's just like something that I've always loved has just kind of it's finally blossomed, right? It's been like I've been like watering it in the garden like year after year, and it's like I didn't plant it right this year. I'll try again next year, right? And then all of a sudden, like, some like nice greenery started to come up, and then like beautiful flower that's nice and bright, and then oh hey, I like that one, and then everything is just kind of hopscotch, little stack on top of each other, and something that I've been thinking about and wanting, but not over pursuing, right? Because when you try too hard, it never seems to work out. But when there's a thought in your mind, maybe on the back burner, it's like, oh, it'd be fun to do this, right? And so long as you don't give up on that dream, right?
Yeah.
Remember what you want, and even if it can't be, the final light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully it's going to be like one of the blinking lights along the way that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
And so for this to all unfold in like a year, it's amazing. Like I'm absolutely over the top. This is so exciting for me right now. Like I can't even believe that we're doing an interview about the art thing. And like, so thank you.
Well, the thing is too, I think that our area, which is why the show is what the show is there's something in the water in the Okanagan that makes everybody creative.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's so many creative people, and to be one of those people who's taking it and decided I want to try and do this as my life is there's levels, you know what I mean? And then not a lot of people get to that step where they take that initiative and that initial, I'm just going to give it all and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, whatever.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I wanted to dive into painting, because life is chaos and your art is described as chaos art. And it's not chaotic, but it's beautiful. There's a beauty in chaos that I don't think people realize, because everyone wants everything to be so perfect and structured that chaos is scary.
Life isn't perfect.
No.
Nobody's perfect.
Well, and that's the thing too, is change, like adaptation to life is a key thing. And I think that being an artist in any form kind of gives you an upper hand on that, because being a musician, you put in 20 years, of dedication to learn an instrument. Painting is another thing, right? Like painting is another level that I find is, music is an emotional, like you hear it, you connect, but painting is like a physical emotion and a spiritual aspect. That's really almost hard to grasp for some people, I find. Like that initial like, this is what beauty is.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it since we were cavemen on walls.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've been making art since we
the beginning. That's how they knew about other people, right?
Exactly. And culture just expands through artwork, which is kind of like you think of the Mona Lisa, for example, and how many people have stared at that painting.
Yeah.
And all the different thoughts that they've gone through their heads, individual heads, for how many years, right? Like thousands of years. Or it's art lasts longer than music, theater.
It's everlasting for sure.
It lasts longer than some structures. So it's...
Yeah, there's terrible builders out there nowadays.
So for it to be... How to word this properly, that like art and music are like key stepping stones for revolution, change, and evolution of our species since the day they were created.
Yeah, definitely. It's a constant evolving structure of sound and time, essentially. And it's up to us as a people to keep believing in it, I suppose. Like, we applaud new sound. I mean, there's a lot of ridiculous auto-tune stuff nowadays that I do not applaud. But like down here in the jam pad, we make fresh sound. Like we try and use the roots that have been planted for styles that we know and we like, and create something more, something new, something we want to say different. But I mean, like, so much of it has been sampled and redone. I mean, like, when it comes to music, there's only so many chords and stuff. But when it comes to art, there's like a whole lot of colors. And then you can like take some of those colors, just put them together and make another
colors, right? Yeah.
And then you could even be like colorblind and be like, well, my colors are different than yours. Unless you're like, and you're just like black and white and smear some weird colors. But I am actually colorblind. I have the red-green colorblind. It's not that I can't see them, but when they're like side by side, like my wife asked me, we were sitting on the stoop, and just like, do you see that beautiful red rose over there? And I like looked across the way, and it was just like this big, like tall grass, all like really nice green. And it's somewhere hidden in the middle, I don't know. She told me there was a beautiful red rose. And I literally just did the colorblind test.
That's crazy.
Saying that I couldn't see, like the reds and greens were my tough. And then we go outside. I don't know if she was trying to like poke fun at me. But she's like, do you see that rose over there? And I just looked over and it was just like green. No, sweetie, I do not see the rose in that sea of green. She's like, what? It's right there. And I was like, we just did a test. Said that that's like the hard, I can't see that stuff. But I mean, like, I can't. Anyways,
I was gonna say, does it affect, like, not affect, but
well, you tell me.
well, like, there's a lot of red and a lot of light greens. This one has a lot of green and red, but
Yeah.
in the centers. But this
And like,
one,
and I can see it, right? I know that that's the reds and that's the greens. And
but
like,
when they're side by side, it's just hard to differentiate.
it was originally pointed out many moons ago. I bought a popsicle back when they had gumball for eyes,
Oh, okay.
and there was a green one and a red one. Little did I know they were like that. I opened it and I was like, "Yeah, I got two of the same color." And my sister was like, "Oh, no, Brent, there's a green one and a red one." And I was like, "No, what are you talking about? They're two red ones." And so that was the initiation of it. But it's never been something that was like I couldn't handle.
Yeah.
But it is something that, like, in life, there is people that have more trouble seeing colors and stuff, right? But so, like, music can be taken in,
And perceived.
right?
Yeah.
And art can be, and so there's like a balance, right?
It's yes, and I mean, like, the patience that actually comes with painting too, because I've tried painting for a long time. It's something that I've always wanted to do,
Yeah.
but I'm way too, like, hard on myself when it comes to, like, with music. At least I know what I
Yeah.
can and can't do, but with
Yeah.
painting, there's a lot of things that I just don't understand. I feel that I oversaturate the canvases.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't figure out how to make it look nice or texture wise.
So you just go, and you grab the knife and just.
Abstract is one that I think would be more up my alleys. As much as I'd love to do something that's
Yeah, right.
structured
No, I'd love
and-
to. Like, I wish I could paint the Mona Lisa. Like Da Vinci was mastermind for sure.
Yeah.
He developed a style that you couldn't even see his brushstrokes.
which is
Right,
mind
where I'm
yeah.
like, I'm just like, texture this. You're gonna see it,
You want to show
Right.
the difference in them. And
right? And then like, and so that's like what I with the oils too, especially. Like, I strictly paint with oils, right? It's a lot thicker. They take more time to set.
Mm-hmm.
You have like lots of body to blend with. When you put them on, they're just like butter and bread, or like good jelly.
Did you, sorry to interrupt you, did you use leaves on this?
No, that's all tools.
That's all tools?
Yeah,
That looks so
I've
cool.
seen a tree or two in my day.
That's so cool. I thought it was like actual
Yeah.
pieces.
No, I got special like texture combs, and so I'll take the knife and I'll do like a vertical swipe, and then I come in with like a triangular texture comb and just like a quick pull.
It's so
We can
cool.
Make them into trees, and then I did like the like kind of snail shell. This one is actually like half a comb doing a circle that way, and then another half going that way. That's not like a full. Yeah, and then just like with
Right.
the knives and just like kind of go up and down and blend, and like it adds so much depth and texture, and like just the.
You see so much in there once you actually start to,
Yeah, right. You just stop and like,
it's crazy.
seriously, I painted this with like I started up here. I did like put some like yellows and blues and stuff. I was like, this is cool. And then I like stopped for the night. And then I came back to, I was like, oh, I don't know. I think I might have messed it up. Oh, I'm gonna just keep going. And I did some other stuff. And I was like, oh, and like, it's just. I used to get really frustrated with the art when I was trying to like focus and actually like paint something specific, like, doing it from a reference. And now, I like forget those references. Go away.
Yeah.
Play the music, give me the colors, but I still get there's points, even though like they look complete and they look like unique, right? There is subtle moments in this chaos where I personally feel that I might have like mispulled or like overblended or something, and I'm like I'm like, damn, just like look, we still have more time, and I'll just like leave that part. And I'll jump over here and do some stuff. And then I'll have some extra paint on my knife from that little bit. And I bring it back over here and I pull. And I'll come back to it. And then at the end of it, I'm like, I think it's pretty cool. And I hang it on the wall. And I pass by it every day for a week. And I'm like, you know what? That's pretty sweet.
How do you know? How do you make, like, I know other people have different ways of choosing when something's done, because I think that's the hardest in any, as an artist, or something's never truly finished.
Yeah, and that's gonna be something in the back of your mind, no matter what. Even when you do call it and you sign it and you sell it,
Yeah.
there's always gonna be something in your head, like as you jump into the next canvas, or as you write the next song, or as you bake the next pie. There's always going to be something in the back of your mind that's big. And it's like back the old cartoons, right? You got the angel and the devil.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Come on. Right? It's like you missed, you feel like you missed. But like I was saying with the whole chaos thing, the rules, forget it.
Yeah.
It's the sense of letting go and not worrying whether or not you think it's done, but knowing that you can present it or let it go as something that you're happy with being complete enough for somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's the most difficult part, especially, like, we have a painting at our house of a Buddha head that I did.
Okay.
And it's like, it's probably the best painting I've ever done.
Yeah.
But it almost got destroyed probably a handful of times just because of
Right?
frustration.
There's always
Like,
something.
I just don't have patience for
No, man. No
painting.
patience, no time, not
Yeah.
enough hands, and too many lids. Like, it's like, and it's, we're all our own worst critic.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's, and I don't know, that's if it's obviously how we're hardwired, or like how whoever's running this simulation playing PlayStation with us doing this interview, like now he's gonna be frustrated about this. It's in his dialogue. It's, you get a real sense of relief when you can not let that bother you anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's always, I feel like no matter what, it's always going to be like a little tick in the back of your head. Like there's always going to be something, but the more that you just don't let it bother you and forget about it, you grow more.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I started doing this, like I got some more pieces on the other side there. Looking at those pieces now to what I have done up until now, evolution. Like there's constant growth in each one. Like all of these paintings that I've done, that lots of people are just like super stoked on. I'm like, I think they're pretty cool, but I don't want to be like, yeah, buy my art. It's dope. Come get it.
Yeah.
No, that's like, I want people to see this as an expression of love, of life, of music, when they actually see how it happens and what becomes of it. But it's just, I like doing it, and I want people to see that it's not about being the best artist, right? That was never the mission. It's about expression. It's about putting yourself out there and not worrying about a bad reference or somebody saying, ugh, blah, 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 whatever, right? Like, no, I'm happy and proud of what I am capable of doing when it comes to the canvas and the paint. And I enjoy showing that.
I think that's all that matters at the end of the day, right? Because, like, art is not a competition.
No.
You know what I mean?
Right?
And I find that,
Self-expression.
yeah, and that's the one thing about it is, like, there is no such thing as the best painter,
No.
right? Like, people's styles change, and, like, times are different. The times, like, there are different time periods of art where art has changed dramatically from these beautiful portraits and landscapes that are,
like
you
all
know,
over
like,
the 16th chapel, like
Yeah.
painted on your back on a scaffolding. Just freaking a banana just sold on a canvas duct tape to it for like $2.5 billion or something. And then Buddy
Right.
ate the banana the next day. It's like, that's not art, man.
no. Well, that's
We're
the
all
thing,
over
right?
here like,
yeah.
look at all my colors.
Right. So it's funny
You can't
because,
eat
like,
it tomorrow, but maybe down the road if you want to have some fun.
you might be able to, right? But, like, the thing about painting, though, is, like, for example, this one. You can feel the energy flowing through this one, and then before you even get to
And look, it goes, you can, if you want to have fun, you could just like turn
move
it.
it around. Like, I really enjoy this aspect right here.
Right?
Where it
And
looks-
actually,
it's-
look, we can go this way too. If you get like, it looks like it's like a profile of like a face, almost, and like feathered.
I see a valley, mountains.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
A river coming down through the
For
valley.
sure, but like just like this white line, like you got
Oh,
like
yeah.
the forehead and the nose and then
Yeah.
like the lips.
Just
but
a bunch
the
of them,
way
like,
it's-
oil
it's
drips.
staggered, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like going out, right?
I can definitely see, just by turning it too, like, I see two different merging creeks. Like, one coming down from the mountains, and then,
Yeah, and then
right?
like up here you got this creek, and then this one's bridging off. You got like the dark forest up here, and
a
this
bunch of downed trees.
yeah, this painting was actually the first one that I know I was like, I was on the edge. I didn't know if I should, but I did it, and then as soon as I did it, I was like, ah! I put black, big cross lines in each corner, and then pulled everything into the middle, so it's like this big black X. And when you work with black, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna just like
no
add some blue to
forgiveness.
that,
Yeah, no,
right?
there's
We'll
no
just-
forgiving.
We'll buff that out right quick. And so like, because I went and actually I went down to one of the galleries and I was showing them some of my art. And I was like, what do I gotta do to get on the walls here? And just like, oh, you know, blah blah blah, rent space, this that, you know, we charge. She's like, but I got so many artists. I was like, okay, whatever. And I showed her some of my stuff. She's like, well, you really like that color palette, don't you? I was like, this is all the paints that come in the box. What do you want me to do?
Love it.
And I was like, Walmart sells that in a 24-pack. This is the best I can do. And then, so like, since then, I've been like, and then, because those ones were like a rather like bright section that was at the start of the Chaos Venture. And then, so I'd like, ever since she said that, it wasn't like I was trying to like prove her wrong, because I haven't gone back to see her. I mean, she was a really nice person. It was a nice talk. But like, the fact that she said that, I was like, oh, what is your color palette?
Yeah,
man?
right.
What, you got that's
What's everyone
24 different colors in the pack. Where are you getting your colors from? That's all I got, man. I thought I had everything. Black, white, red, yellow, orange, blue. I know all the colors of the rainbow. But so this one, and it wasn't like the day after I had talked to her or anything, but
Yeah.
it was something in the back of my head that I was just like, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself, and I'm going to hit it hard with darks to start. And so, like, anything that might be a possible, like, ooh, I messed it up, you're going to have to use that darkness to balance and, like, rebound, right? So you got to,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know, it was a fun little like challenge almost, and I'm really happy with how this one turned out.
I like
I
it.
think it's fun, and like
I think that's definitely the
usually
way
you're
it
not
goes.
supposed to touch the paintings, but this one's dry. It's like almost like
You can see
washboard.
the texture, and
Yeah,
that's what I
right?
love about it. Yeah, I think that's
Like,
yeah.
these is like almost like out of like a Disney movie, like the little like walking geese or something. Like,
Yeah, paintings are really, especially when you dive in away from brush. I find like brush kind of, for myself, has always been the challenge, because I can't, so many different styles of brushes and how
Yeah.
you're supposed to use them. And it's not like you're not taught. You're just usually like, when you start painting, you just kind of pick up, put a bunch of paint on a paintbrush and start going, right?
They said this is a brush for paint, right? They didn't say it was just for a little bit of paint. Give me this big, look, all the paint there.
The thing I find is like one thing I found I was good at was weird blending. So
Okay.
where like colors are super so blended that you can't see the difference, and it just kind of like has this weird aspect of looking at it, which I use mostly sponges. I
Okay.
enjoy painting with sponges for some reason. I think that was the one thing where I've never actually got to use the knives and the pulling stuff, and there's so many different forms of art.
Yeah,
That's
right. Like
weird.
it's infinite.
Yeah,
like,
and
it's like there's no stop to it. There's few things in this life. Well, I mean, maybe. Oh, this conversation could go on for a bit. Like when it comes to art and style and tools, like essentially and I think I already said this, your own limitation is your imagination.
yeah,
Right? It's how far do you want to step outside the box? Because like when you are like conformed to I can only paint portraits, like okay, sucks to be you. But I mean touche, because well done. But I hope you're good at it. But like if they're strictly conformed to that and they could do that like really good, then why not step outside? Why not just open the window, look outside, right? Like if you could paint somebody's face like to a fine detail with like that nasty mole with the hair on it, even like old grandma, I love you, but why wouldn't you want to challenge yourself to put that detail, that love, and that passion into whatever the view is outside the window? Maybe it's a vineyard, maybe it's a sunset, maybe it's like I don't know, your car.
Yeah.
Like if you can paint something so real that is like a portrait is it. Like if you go and get a portrait tattoo, they better do it right.
yeah. They're
'Cause,
usually
like,
the best artists out there.
That's my grandma.
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be, right? Like some
Yeah.
people's like, that's my ferret. It's a little, I don't know. Turtle, cool, brother. Anyway, but like, there's a certain group of people that can do that stuff, and that like, but they say that's it, that's their forte.
Mm-hmm.
But why would you limit yourself? Why would you just like, stop yourself from seeing outside that? If you're able to nail something like that so good that you're saying that's all you do, you're holding yourself back. Because sure, you might be able to do it like so awesomely, but like, don't you think you could do like that mountain hasn't changed in 500 years. Do you want to paint the mountain with the trees and the sunset? Right? Like, grandma's getting older. She's not going to look like that tomorrow. That mountain, I mean, that sunset might change a little bit. But, like, why restrict yourself, right? Like, when you could, I don't know.
No, it's true. What's been your biggest challenge so far getting into an art career?
I don't have enough hands. And there's lids on all the paints. Those are pretty frustrating. There's like Pop Top. They got it on the toothpaste. It'd be so much easier.
Yeah, that's true.
The art career. Well, it's. I mean, I work full-time construction, so it's not like I'm looking for a job. If I could like paint and play music and just like be a dad and cook food for my family, that'd be
the dream.
I mean, I don't think I'd need much more than that. Maybe a beach in Mexico or something. But like as far as selling art, like I want to say it's not. I mean, we just like. It's the wrong time of year to sell art, apparently. Nobody's out in the streets. You'll find me at the beach in the summertime. Come check it out. But I feel like people are like, I don't want to say nervous, but like unsure of if they were to buy something that's not the norm, it might like judge their character if they have a cheese party or something.
Fair enough.
Like I would like you put a price on something and people look at it, and if it's not like the Mona Lisa, right? They're like, oh well, that's way too expensive. Like, but like, what would you pay for it?
Right.
Right? Like what? You stop to look at it, like I was saying earlier, like it caught your eye, right? Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but it stopped you.
Yeah.
You looked at it. Look at it again. And then go look around, and then come back, take another look. And you know what? Flip it over and check it out again, because there's more inside this than you've walked past in the last 5 blocks walking down the street.
Yeah.
Right? You said hi to Joe, you bought a coffee from Tim, and you saw Sandra on the corner walking her dog. In here, no matter where you look, there's something that you recognize. Like, you're like, oh, did you actually use this?
Yeah.
No.
A lot of these aspects look
Right?
like
It's
you
just-
grabbed
I've
a leaf or something.
been in nature, and like we got a summer cabin up on the Sunshine Coast. I've been outside and experienced life. I've done hiking. I love the water. I love like just watching the trees blow in the wind. They do a lot of work with breezes. But it's just a simple motion that comes from memory. And like I was talking about, like life in motion, right? It's movement, rhythm is how I work, I guess.
It's incredible to see what you've created, because I've seen some of the photos online too that you've posted,
Thanks, man.
and it's cool to see it up close in person, because there's a lot more details.
Yeah,
when
right.
you're
You can
right
actually like,
up.
get in there. Like the pictures only do so much justice. And so it's like the wife's like, you gotta make sure you get a picture of every painting you sell. I was like, I will. Maybe we'll reprint it, but they don't print them with the bumps.
No,
Like,
and that's the thing too. It's like
with the combs and the oils, like I put them on so thick. Like I said, it's like butter and a big piece of toast. It's like woohoo, colorful butter. And then get in there and just like do these swoops and these pulls and these zigzags and.
the thing about artwork too is I think it's kind of not meant to be reprinted. Like
No.
I find it almost insulting if you get prints of a painting
Yeah.
versus the actual painting.
Yeah,
because
I'd
I think
rather
that's
just
what
be one original out there. If anything, for like a personal, like, what, notebook or whatever, portfolio.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Just to have a copy of it.
Yeah, 100%.
And like a picture of it, unless you got like a really good camera and I mean, you got the whole setup here. Maybe you should come take some pictures. But like it's especially with these, like it's the texture, man. Like
Yeah.
you get
You
in
can't-
the side and you're
once
like,
you see the depth
like,
behind
I
it.
could like snuggle with that and it would
Yeah.
scratch my cheek, right? Like it's
Yeah, even here, there's so much texture, and then you can just see
there's
it.
something about it, and you like when you look at a picture of it. That's when like I post them on Facebook. I'm like, I want people to see these. Everybody's just like kind of like share, not too many comments. But then I'm like, they come over. I'm like, hey, did you see this? Yeah, I saw it online. No, whatever. I don't care what you saw online. Look again.
Yeah.
Look from this angle because it's 3D, man. Like there's more to it, right? Like there's
There's a lot
there's
behind
a
it.
feeling, there's body to it, and
And you were touching on a point earlier too about people like looking at art and being afraid to take it home.
yeah,
I know that there's been times where I've bought art and I love it and it goes on the wall, and then when it comes down off the wall, it's the most guilty feeling ever, especially because when it's like friends and family too,
Yeah,
right? Because your taste changes. So I think a lot of people are maybe like scared to invest in artwork that's not the norm, like you were saying, some maybe because it's not their style, but some because once it comes off the wall, it almost feels insulting to buy that artwork and then it's not displayed permanently.
Yeah, fair enough.
At least that's how I feel with like the artwork from my friends that I have. That's
Yeah.
not hanging currently. Like I feel super guilty having
Well,
it.
no, I could see that, but I don't think that like if you were going into a gallery that you would be invested that far ahead in a thought.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm gonna buy this now because I like that guy and he's cool beans, but like in 5 years I'm gonna have to move and take it off my wall and it's gonna sit in storage. And
Right. Well, that's how I feel personally. Just
no,
like,
but like
I feel guilty when it comes to
understand
that.
that feeling for sure.
Yeah.
But like it's not like you're offending the artist by any means, right? Like
Yeah.
the moment, and what I like about being in the gallery and getting to show people my art and actually now having painted for people is to just let them indulge, like take a look. Like I walked people through my studio today. I only got 5 paintings on the wall at the gallery. I set up with a huge one. It's massive. It's 4 foot by 3 foot that I painted today. And then I went into the gallery and I showed them I got 21 pieces in my studio. And so just to like show them, right? Just be like, even if it's not your cup of tea, like take a look. Like, look, it's a small little area, but like do the loop and then maybe go back again because like, and then if you walk on your hands and you look upside down, it's different.
It's true.
But it's not that in the end, if you have to take it down or if you get something new and it goes into storage, that you're offending the artist. And I respect what you're saying. Like you feel like that could be something in the back of the mind. But as the artist watching somebody or like talking them through, be like, you know, if you really like this, you know, you work out a deal. And just seeing their reaction to that, or like their first double look when they're like walking by, like, whoa, hey, what? Right? That's what I like to see as an artist. Like something that I did to catch your eye, right?
Yeah.
If you don't want to take it home, that's fine, but maybe 2. And maybe it wants to go home with you too. And I bet you if you talk real nice to him, he'll give you a payment plan. Hey, that's okay. I'll be your Christmas present.
Did like with like for example, one of my, I have a cousin who passed away and his sister gave me all of his paintings. And his paintings are on the darker side because he was painting his darknesses onto the canvases.
Fair enough. It's totally an expression.
Yeah, and they're amazing in their own context. You can see what he was feeling, which is kind of the reason over the years I've had to take them down off the walls because I'm not that relation.
Mindset,
You know what I mean? Like there's not that connection as much anymore. But I feel so guilty just having them sitting in my studio in a pile, and I'm like, at some point, I'm like, do you, like a good book, hand the painting off to somebody else who appreciates it?
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to talk to the artist if you guys are still close, right?
Yeah.
And be like, hey, dude, like, I got all these paintings, like, I was really stoked on them at the time. Not gonna lie, there's definitely from a certain period of darkness. I'm just like kind of moving away. Like, would you want to take these back, or do you have somebody that like, or just talk to people and like, or even like if you think there's a way you could brighten them up, like if it's like the yin and the yang, right? Like dark and light forces, balance. If they're super dark, but you like them, and I mean, it's usually not too kosher to paint on other people's
Somebody else's
stuff, right?
paint,
Like,
yeah.
don't go into the gallery and get putting a tattoo over somebody. But if it's somebody that you know and like you don't want to get rid of the piece, but it's not necessarily your particular cup of tea this time around, if you felt like you could add something to it, I would be honored. Like if
I never
as
thought of it
opposed
that
to you
way.
be like, man, I can't. It's every time I look at this painting, it's yelling at me. I want to give it to somebody else because I feel like they need somebody to yell at them, and I don't have the patience to. But I thought maybe if I like put a flower in the corner here and a smiley sun, everything would be like I would be like. I don't think you can get much happier than this.
No, right? And that's
But if
the
you
thing.
wanted to add like an evil little skull, it'd be like, "Urgh," and then like a happy dude. But like, I think that art can always be evolving.
Yeah.
Right, and it is forever evolving.
Yeah.
And like, so if you like bought this, and then we're like, I don't think you could ever get over that. That's just
No,
like,
it's
that's
way too cool.
It looks like delicious, delicious gum and all sorts of flavors and happiness. But like, if you wanted to go in and like Sharpie and like a dude surfing on this wave or something, I'd be like, yeah,
that'd be fun.
do it, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to put in like a gremlin like coming over the hill or something, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to you using my art and making it something else.
Yeah. Question. How long did this one take you?
I think I did that one in... That was 3 sessions of about 2 hours each. I did like, it's kind of like top section here. I don't know, it was from like there down. And then I ran out of time. Well, time, there's never enough of it. And then I was like, the next day I was like, oh, I gotta go in. And then so I like went and did some more. And then and then the wife was like, hey, you gotta cook dinner. So I was like, ah. And then I went back in and I was like, I'm gonna finish it this time.
That's awesome.
And I went back down. So like this one actually was over the span of a couple days. But like, I could do all of this in a sitting of about like 3.5, 4 hours.
That's awesome. It's cool to see it done in multiple parts. I always feel like you have to sit down and finish it right there on the spot.
Yeah, right. And I would prefer to because it's a thing. Like when I'm like, I would just be like chilling, cooking pancakes, and then I was like, I need to paint.
Inspiration hits at the weirdest times.
Manny, finish this pancake. I gotta paint. Vinny's here. Run away.
That's awesome.
But that's just like, no, we're gonna watch the show. But like, it's to me when it comes, and it always comes. I want to just do it. Mm-hmm. I'm like,
there's no putting it aside.
I love you, but there's other things that are happening right now, and even if you don't let me, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna be weird, and you're not gonna like it. Just let me. It's so much easier. Like, I'll still be here if you want to talk. I'm just gonna be moving
arms,
paint, right? Colors happening. I use some hands. Come on over. It's emotion. It's a movement. It's a thought. It's a feeling. It's a wave of life. I don't know, man. It just happens, and like when actually. Just this summer, like after I did the Squid Captain, I did it for Kynan of the contract. Well, I did it for me at the time. I gave it to him quite recently. I did that painting, and there was like everything clicked. I like listened to the music all day. I was running around like a crazy person in the backyard. I was like, ah, samurai, paint. And I like the Rubik's Cube in my head went clickety clack. When my wife got back, they were out east for like the month of August. When she got back, the night she got back, we were hanging out, and then I was like about to go to bed, and I was like, hey, I love you, and I'm happy to have you home, but I have to go paint right now. She's like, what? I was like, it's not me, it's the other guy. Something just happened, like, real recently. I have to go. She's like, seriously? I was like, I'm gonna kiss you on the forehead, but I need to. We're losing time right now, and I like booked it downstairs. I set up all my stuff and I started painting this canvas, and I did like it was. I I think it's like 18 by 24. This is 8. It was a decent sized canvas.
Yeah.
And I painted like this top section. It was like this huge mountain, and it had like this like almost like dragon coming over it and stuff. And like the mountain was on fire, and it was like we were dealing with forest fires like around there, which is not uncommon. But like I was like literally about to like crawl into bed, and it just
Inspiration hits. Yeah.
it was like somebody was like, "Oh, mission upload. Come on, we're going to paint right now."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I love you, but I'm being called downstairs." And I went to town. And I did like a third of a canvas, and just like fully just like it was like twitching, like didn't upload it of the painting, and like just went and then I just like stopped, and I was like, "Okay, we're good." And I just like dropped everything and like washed my hands and like went to bed. And then the next day she came down and she was like, "That's
What you did?"
she's like, "You left to do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "All right."
Right.
Right? She's like, and then like I had like another session the next day and then finished it like that night. So it was another 3-part one. And we ended up calling it Middle Earth, and it was like really like, oh, it was intense, like big mountain seeing fire and like rivers and canyons, and oh, it's so cool. But it just like washed over me.
Yeah.
Like there was no stopping that. I need to do it, right? And that's what's been happening. And I don't want to stop it.
Don't.
No, and I don't plan on stopping it. So you watch out.
There's a lot of like in the music industry, a lot of people call that their Rain Man, or like some other people call it their guardian spirits.
Yeah, right.
That inspirational force that just kind of, like you said, takes over you, and you have no control.
No.
Right? There's no stopping it once it comes. It's just a steamroller.
Yeah, right. Just washes over you, and I feel like not everybody gets that blessing, possibly curse. But if you do, don't ever think of it as a curse, and use it to your advantage for sure. Because if that is happening to you, then there's some sort of higher force or something, or your grandpa's looking over you, or your buddy, blah blah blah. But use it, man. Like there's only so much time that we have, and if we can express something that hasn't been done yet, that people will enjoy, then why not?
I think that's the hardest thing nowadays as a creative, is creating something that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Which is definitely, especially with music, it's
it's
impossible, right? It's hard.
Well, and you could just ask AI now to do whatever you want for you, right? Jeez.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like that's one thing I don't think technology will ever be able to accomplish, is that natural inspiration, and when your brain just kind of disappears from reality, and there's something that takes over.
Yeah.
Whatever you think it is, there's something.
One with it's one with the canvas for me, and like ever since I was a little kid, I've had shaky hands, like little tremors, and it's so frustrating. I hate it. It drives me nuts. And like I worked in a kitchen for a long time, when I was like trying to do like nice plates. Chef would be like looking over my shoulder. He's like, "Come on, do it." I'm like, "Ah, sauce everywhere," and it still happens like on a regular basis, and like. I know that it happens, and it's just like something stupid that I have to deal with. Mm-hmm. But there's a point when I get into the painting that my hands have never been more smooth, and I'm just like any sort of tremor behind my hand is the last thing that's thought of. Like I went into the studio this morning and I was like a little bit nervous. I was like getting stuff ready. My hands are shaking. I was like, "Come on, get it together, man!" And then I like start getting everything together, and then I was like dancing around, I'm moving and grooving, and I was like steady as rock, right?
Yeah.
This it's in between the sense of fear and accomplishment, maybe.
Yeah. It just tranquility takes over.
Yeah, right. That in between where you're uncertainty and possibly I could pull it off. I don't know.
For me, it's the same. It's that moment that you're on stage before the first song plays.
Yeah,
and everyone's staring at you, and everyone's
just
staring at you, and you take that big deep breath, and then you start playing, and everything just kind of goes. And then after you're done, it's all back to chaos and anxiety.
Yeah, right.
The moment you open your eyes up again.
And then you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Oh, we're done? All right.
I think that's one of the cool things about art, whether it be sculpting, painting, writing music, acting. There's so many forms of it, and if you look back at history, entertainment and art has always been kind of our release, whether it's back in the Egyptian times or Japanese, ancient Japan, but like art, music has always been what defined culture.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, like a culture isn't a sophisticated culture unless they have music, art, and, you know, an army, basically. So,
an army.
But it's...
And a signature dish, you know.
Yeah, right?
Gotta have
so,
that
like,
poutine.
And that's, I think that's where it's like, I think that's where, like, it's never going to go anywhere. And I've seen online tons that, I have a lot of friends that are artists that are anti-AI. And that AI is taking over arts. Unless AI genuinely gains a consciousness and can feel on the level that we can chemically, I don't think it's ever going to be able to take us.
No, it can only work with whatever. Like the only way this AI programming can create art is you typing in something that you want. Like, I want you to do something that looks like this or that, and give it references, or that it already has references from.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it can never create you something that is original.
No, it can't take the pain that you've had and put that on a canvas.
Yeah, right. It can never express it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why art is such a beautiful thing, and why, like, being a creative person myself, I love watching other people do art and seeing how they do it. Their mind, the process behind their mind, because most of us who are creatives are loud, obnoxious, because that's how we cope. But behind closed doors, we're calm, collected, and there's a lot of deep thoughts that no one really gets to hear, right? Yeah. So we express it, whether it be music, whether it be art, whether it be filming, or, right? So, like, getting that perspective from other people kind of just shows that we're all the same in that. When inspiration hits, there's no stopping it. Yeah. And we're our worst critics. It doesn't matter what industry of art you're doing. Yeah. It's just a running theme.
Always going to be the thought in the back of your head, like,
yeah.
Is that good enough? It's got to be. The timeline's up, man. We gotta get this to the studio. Right. but like, you gotta, even if you, I mean, and like I said before, like, we always feel like there's gonna be that, it could have been, it could have had, it should have been, it would have, right? But you have to know and have to have the confidence to be able to just say yes. Yeah. And even if after it's released into the world, and this is more like with music, not so much like if I released this painting into the world, which this is for sale if anybody's interested. It's not like I'm just like, I think I could do something else. I'm gonna sneak into their house at night and like, but with a song, right? Like, if you like write a song and release like even just like an acoustic draft or something, whenever you play it live and you thought in the back of your head, there's like, oh, we should have just like, yo, you should have done this in the solo, or you need some more double kick or something. You can alter it, right? Like there's still room to evolve.
Yep.
Because nothing is ever essentially set in stone.
Yeah, especially with music. But with artwork, it's the complete opposite. If you were to give aspiring artists, painters, musicians, because I know you're both, advice, what would the best piece of advice you could give them is?
Oh man, don't listen to the rules. Like don't let them tell you what you can do or can't do. Just breathe and find your niche. Go out and watch the sunset. Stare at the stars. Sit on the beach, put your hands in the sand, and watch the waves crash. Take those natural movements and sounds and use them and feel that energy.
Fair enough. I think that painting is one thing that I think is a scary form of art for people to step into because it is so expressive and it's so personal.
Yeah, definitely, right? It could be a little you gotta, like I said, forget the rules, forget it, but it's not about, you don't do it to see what other people think. That's not why I'm doing it.
No.
I'm doing it because it's fun. And apparently there's been a few people that do like it. So in that sense, and I'm not going to keep painting for the rest of you. I'm doing it for me. But if you want to come and check it out, the chaos is right around the corner. Or right next door, matter of fact.
Right. Awesome. I definitely enjoy what you've created, and I can't wait to see what happens in a year from now.
Yeah, right. We're just getting started.
That's the thing, right?
This is all me just learning how to paint, which seems kind of funny because like I'm painting, but like it's all just like figuring out techniques and stuff, and like you can see like there's like. Would you ever guess that the same person painted this whole thing? Or painted all three of these? The same person?
Right.
Right? Like there's definite hints at styles that are similar, but like technique wise, and these are all like there's a good spread in like time between these. But this is all just like this last year has been me learning and figuring out technique and style.
Yeah.
So like just wait.
Right.
We're just getting started.
And I think that's what's perfect.
I need to get some more canvas, but I was thinking about painting these sound panels for the guys.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be wicked. Awesome. Is there any anything that you're planning on doing? Like, do you have another event or anything coming up in the next little while?
We got some shows coming up for Nunya, but no. We just did that acoustic chaos paint jam today. It went pretty good. I wouldn't be opposed to do it again. I think the time of season is not quite right. There's not a lot of foot traffic.
Fair enough.
What I want to do is just come warm time, set up and dance around in the grass down at the beach and do the same thing. And I think I could turn a couple more heads, and what I'm really like doing too is involving people with it. Like anybody that's washing by. Like there's a couple people today. I was like, "What's your favorite color?" All right, just give me a color. And then I got like I got two tables full of palette knives, man. I needed to ask for another table because I only have two, one for paint, one for knives, and I've got too many stuff. So I was like, "Hey, you got some more tables?" And it's like. I was like, pick a tool and pick a color, and they just like hand them to me, and I'm like, all right, where do you want it? And then, so I can make it like it can be a really fun like interactive like kind of paint show.
Have you ever thought of streaming?
What's that?
Have you ever thought of streaming while doing it?
Dude, I don't have enough hands, man.
No, I know, but like,
And I have no space on my phone either. So
to like actual stream it and have your
I have thought about it.
like have commenters.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool concept. I think I've never seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Really cool.
When I did the painting in the backyard in the summer there, I was like running around. I was like, get the cameras, man. They're going to light up. They're going to want to see this. Yeah. I called my sister. I'm talking to her. I was like, do you got any more hands? She's like, what? Are you okay? I was like, yes, I'm fantastic.
I
just
need 4 more hands.
And then the neighbor's little kid came out. I was like, you want to paint, man? He's like, yeah. I was like, his parents are sitting there. I was like, is it okay if he paints? They're like, yeah, sure. I was like, he's going to get dirty. He's in the splash zone. You good with that? I was like, it's oil paint. It's going to take more than just a bit of soap. It's extra scrub. And he helped me. And we were going through, man, and I was like so sick of all the lids on the paint. So he didn't have time. It's like 4 rotations and flicks. So I was just like peeling them off, and I would just throw it like there's still lids in the backyard.
That's so funny.
And Lil Mason's like, can you? And he hands it to me, and I was like, the lids, right? He's like, oh! And then we're in the middle, and we painted this huge thing, and he's trying to like put the paint on the canvas, and he's like just a little bit too far away, and it was like right on the floor, and I'm like, dude, I'm like running out of paint here, man. I like scoop it up with the knife, I'm like smear it on the canvas. I'm like, I'm gonna get you a stool, and I happened to have like a little bench. I like stood up, and I was like, it's gotta go on the canvas. It's like, I'm totally down to paint the floor, but I don't think the landlords would be very happy about that, and I'm kind of running out of paint here. And so, yeah, he helped me, and he had a good time. And then I was painting for like, I think it was like 4.5 hours altogether. And like, when he started painting with me, he came over to me and like handed me the white. I've been looking for the last 3 hours for the white paint. So I just like, I had everything in a tote. I just dumped it on the table. There's just knives and paint everywhere. And like, the paint was everywhere. And I couldn't find the white, man. And I was like, this painting could use some white for sure. And then like Mason was painting with me for a bit, and then he came to me and he just like holds it up, and it was like Rafiki holding Simba. Like, oh, Samanya. And I was like, where'd you find it? And he's like, over there. Like points at the table, like heaping pile of paints and lids.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was good, man. I was like so excited. I was more excited than like Christmas. It's like the white, man. Oh my goodness. It's hilarious.
Well, Brent, I want to thank you so much for doing this, bro. It's been a pleasure to sit down with you and talk about this, because we got to talk to each other about your art at the fundraiser, and to actually sit down and see it is it's different. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and like this is just I tallied up yesterday. I got 28 pieces in my house. I have 32 pieces that have left the house. That's like a couple sold and a couple, or like lots just as gifts.
Yeah.
So that's 60. And then I have 5 pieces on the wall in the gallery. So that's 65. And then I have 21 in my studio.
Wow.
Plus the one I did today, so 22. So that's 87 pieces.
Wow.
87
in
pieces.
1 year?
5 of those were done this year.
Oh, okay.
So 82 in a year.
That's crazy.
Right? And I wasn't even
because
like...
we just came over, we just transitioned over the year.
I wasn't even like trying to like bump out some like crazy numbers.
That's insane.
But now I got like, I'm like, well, I gotta break 100 this year at least, right?
No. We'll have to get you out to Kelowna to a show and get your artwork at one of those shows.
Man.
Perfect.
I can be a traveling art show.
That would be awesome.
You give me the music, I'll paint.
Right? All right, buddy. Well, I want to thank you. And we'll catch you guys again next time.
Yeah. Rock and roll. You good?
I believe so.
It's a saving.